All right, guys. Injuries for the game. Curtis Rourke will be out. Renardo Green will be out. Yi Tour questionable. Ricky Purcell will be out. That's it. Go ahead.
Renardo have a setback of some sort?
Yeah, his neck's been bothering him since the game, and just didn't get any better, so we had to shut him down for the week.
Will Ricky travel, or will he stay back in rehab?
Ricky will stay back.
Was he close at all?
Yeah, he was close, but not close enough.
And then if Eric Kendricks, is he available if you want to move him up?
Yes, he is available.
Does Tatum step right back in at middle linebacker?
Yeah, that's the plan. He had a good week. He's healthy, so I've got no tag on him, so he's good to go.
You mentioned Curtis Rourke. What have you seen from him on the practice field? I mean, it's obviously your first time seeing him out there. How does he look these last couple of weeks?
It's been good to have him out there. You know, he's been working his butt off on the side since he's been activated for practice. So we get to see a little bit of that film and stuff like that. But getting him out there in front of the defense and things like that, it's been cool. You know, he probably had some nerves the first day, but he's been working, rotating with those guys with the card looks, and he's had a good 2 weeks.
How much of it is, obviously him trying to service the defense, but also you guys want to see how he performs?
Yeah, I mean, you try to service the defense by running the plays, but we don't tell him he has to throw here and stuff. So you still get to see the guy play the position, attack coverages, and see where he goes with the ball, and he's done a real good job.
Has Yetur shown enough in this practice window to be ready to play?
Yeah, he had a good 2 days that we got him out there, rested him today. We'll decide on that when we have to, which I think is Monday. So we'll feel it out over these next 2 days.
Samo looks good to go.
Yeah, he had a good week.
You guys have a lot of, or at least a few guys on the team that, as Tongas, who took over a prominent role, that had to step back when George got back. Connor Colby got playing time. Siegel started early and then stopped playing. How valuable is the time they put in the bank in case, for the last 3 games, you could need them, or even the postseason? I mean, the fact that they got that time in there, how valuable is that?
It's huge. I mean, you never know until guys get that time, and I think our guys are very confident and they believe in themselves, but I don't think it's ever really true confidence until you get to go through those experiences. And I mean, just bringing up Tonjas, for example, when George went down in the first quarter versus Seattle, we had a big game plan to George, and when Jake stepped in, and we'd really never know how he'd react, and he did a hell of a job, and it just picked up each week. We know if George has an injury, if Luke has an injury, he'll be ready to go and help us win, and the same thing with those other guys. Whenever you know that, the staff and the players, it really helps us through these situations.
Kirk Cousins kind of went viral this week doing a dissertation about how difficult it is for quarterbacks to decipher coverages pre-snap, and how progressions have had to change as a result. When he first got in the league, it was half the field. Now it's pure progressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you seen that evolution? Have you had to change your offense in the same way?
Oh yeah, we've been doing progression reads for a while. I mean, it's always, I'd say like when I first started, Lynch actually sent me what Kirk did last night. Kirk's a smart guy. He should be on TV. But he's explained it well. So everyone should watch that instead of what I'm about to say. But when we first got in the league, it was so simple with 2 shell, 1 shell. So you just picked a side, and you had 2 guys down to your back. The teams that disguised, it was always harder, and sometimes the quarterback gets caught on the wrong side, and you don't have as good of a play, and you got to find your outlet to a back. The more years have gone by, I can sit in my office with a remote, slowing it down and everything, and it takes me a while to figure out whether it's 2 shell or 1 shell and things like that. So you have plays in that are across the board reads where it used to be maybe 90-10, and the more defenses get used to what you're doing 90% of the time, they get better at it. So the plays you do 10% of the time are the ones you have more success on. So the next year you go into training camp and you work more of those plays, and then it just slowly evolves. I thought what Kirk was saying is a good example of everything. Whatever someone consistently does and you get good at, the defenses will eventually stop it, and everything has always got to evolve like that.
You guys already made the coaching point that based on the 2-point conversion that Seattle got the other night, that if it may be a lateral and that ball's free in the end zone, that's 2 points sitting there. Should everybody know that? Have you talked about it?
Yeah, we actually did today. I mean, everyone. I mean, I remember when I first got in the league, and I think we scrimmaged in New Orleans, and there was just obvious incompletions on the ground, and defensive guys were running and jumping on it. And I remember how much I used to make fun of them for it, because I'm like, don't they know that's incomplete? But then it was actually Denver versus the Chargers. Jay Cutler fumbled a ball on a pass. They blew a whistle, and the Chargers recovered it, and the game should have been over. There was like a minute left. Denver was down 7. But because they blew the whistle, they weren't allowed to give it to the Chargers. And since that day, they realized that you can't, that even if you blow the whistle, you got to allow someone to recover it. So since that day, everyone's been coaching, hey, if that ball's on the ground, grab it. The 2-point conversion was one that seemed a little bit over the top because it didn't look obvious to anybody that was the case. But someone had a habit of grabbing it and ended up probably helping them win the game. Not probably, it did.
When you, the quarterback and progressions and the change in that, like roughly would you say, I mean, obviously it's gradual as it evolves, but like roughly when would you say that began to change?
I'd say more, I mean, I think it's been that way for me since I've come here. I'd say more, I mean, I think everybody's different. I think for myself, probably around like the 2015, around there. I mean, just, it was always in there, but what you started to really start to major in was more of that. That's just across the board reads and how the defense folds, and that's why I always try to articulate how sometimes when guys don't get targets and things like that, it's not always just because they're struggling. It's just how progressions go, how defenses play.
Okay, so in watching what Kirk said, I confess I may have gotten a little confused at times. Wasn't totally following.
Well, there's nothing about injuries.
Do you ever, like when we're asking you questions, and obviously we're at a level of understanding that might be here and there, maybe above possibly, do you ever just get really frustrated and just have to bite your tongue? Like you have no idea what's going on?
Never once in my life. I got so much respect for everyone's football knowledge, just like you guys probably have respect for how I would spell words and articulate things and write. But no, it's sometimes it's, I mean, that was cool what Kirk did, and you know, sometimes it's, you know, we talk about stuff that, I mean, it's just we live in our world and we're always looking at stuff and progressions and coverages and things, and sometimes those words don't always make sense to everyone else. I'm just watching it from a TV standpoint, but I mean, that's what we do. So I like to say that's the only thing I kind of know about. Maybe my playlist I play in my office is about it. Kirk knows a lot of stuff though. He's a pretty smart dude.
How's Kendrick's conditioning coming along?
Good. I mean, it's we wanted to see this week, you know, having last week with his injury, but we're challenging him this week. I thought it looked good and no concerns.
All right, yeah, first off, did you watch Thursday Night Football? What did you think of the game?
Yeah, it was a great game. You know, I'm happy that the Seahawks took care of business. It was a great game. You know, there's a lot of great players playing at a high level. Puka Nacua, you know, he was lights out yesterday. I'm just happy. I'm happy the Seahawks won. Now we able to compete for that number 1 seed, you know, and then everything got to come through Santa Clara.
Does that feel weird to even say I'm happy the Seahawks won?
Yes, it feels weird. I honestly don't even want to say it, but I'm happy you guys took care of business.
Had you ever seen a 2-point conversion or any kind of play like that where it was incomplete and then it was a lateral?
Yeah, that was crazy. Honestly, I didn't know what happened. I'm like, well, how did they get the 2? But then you know, after they explained everything and then replayed it, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. That's like a kick in the dick.
Have you had defensive coaches kind of give you that rule that if the ball's on the ground and you know you didn't know how it got there, just go ahead and pick it up anyway?
Oh yeah, for sure. My rookie year, well, my second year when D'Amico was here, a play happened like that. It was against the Rams. It was a game probably one of my best games as my second year against the Rams. I think I got a sack that game. But Matt Stafford, he had like tried to throw the ball and it was a fumble and the ball was on my foot, but I never touched the ball. And then I just seen everybody like coming running after me, like running at me. And then I want to say, I forgot who recovered it, but it ended up being a fumble. And then it was just like, then Corey Underland, he had told me, he was like, you scoop every fucking ball, you know. Yeah, so then after that was like my learning moment of that situation.
There's not a lot of guys on this defense that have playoff experience. You've got like 6 starts. So how might that translate kind of coming down the stretch here and once you guys make it in?
Really just stressing to the guys, we got to be desperate, because in the playoffs, ain't nobody going to lay down for us. We can't make the small mistakes, the simple mistakes. Everything got to be on point. And it just got to be, we got to hit the ground running.
Feel bizarre that you look at who the Colts are starting and it's Phillip Rivers. Like, you could have never imagined that at the beginning of the year or even a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was going to be like, later down the line when like they just threw him right in. But he's a great player, Hall of Famer, so it's going to be fun, to go out there and compete with him.
When you watched the film from last week, what did you notice about him despite him being 44?
He's not like whatever decision he makes, he's going to follow through with it. So I like that about him.
What kind of added juice does it give the defense after what happened last night with Seattle, knowing that you guys really control your own fate?
Oh, yeah. That's all the juice we need, just the knowing that we can get in there and compete for that number 1 seed, it's second to none.
And how do you just think the maturity of this defense has come along throughout the season? I mean, there have been some ups and some downs.
Oh, yeah, we've been through a lot of adversity. So just to see what we overcame and, stress to get 10 wins, it's just been a blessing, just to see what all the young guys can do, all the adversity they overcame and just how fast they picked up on everything.
Rivers, and what's your experience in playing him? Have you?
No, I haven't played him yet. It's funny, my uncle actually played for him. This was 06 to 09, I believe. He was a fullback, Andrew Pinnock. Blocked for Ladanian when they was all down there in San Diego. So it's kind of crazy, 10 years later. So looking forward to it. Always looking forward to playing against a guy.
Has your uncle told you anything about Phillip or just anything about this game?
I haven't talked to him yet since he put the pads back. Well, I got to try and holler at him, but that's funny.
Well, when you look at the film from last week, what do you see despite him being 44 years old?
He still knows where to put the ball. It's obviously the feet ain't there. We 40-something playing with our kids. I mean, it's a little different than 10, 15 years ago, but it's this don't change, for him. The mentality don't change, understanding coverages. The game is still slow to him, so.
Was that a guy that you watched growing up and just kind of remember those highlights?
Yeah, I got so many pictures of me with Chargers. I was a big Chargers fan because of LT and then my uncle, so yeah, I watched a lot of Phillip growing up.
You have a Rivers jersey?
No, not Rivers. I wouldn't claim that. I got an LT jersey, though.
Monday night's game was already had a lot of importance because you were playing for a playoff spot. What does last night's Seahawks win? Does it give you guys added juice just because you guys can kind of control your own destiny now? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, obviously it's 1 week at a time, but we'd be lying if we say we weren't a little juiced up looking at our TVs last night. So for sure.
You're one of the guys there's not many guys on defense that have playoff experience. You had a taste of it in New York. So how do you kind of rally or relay that to some of the younger guys? What might be coming once you make it there?
Yeah, I think it's just a seriousness in everything that we stressed anyway, which was every play. Like, you never know what that play is going to do, and affect the game. I think we all saw that last night. It's here, it's up, it's down. So just the seriousness of it, and know that, this may be the last time that this team is here together today.
So Jauan, first of all, I'm curious, did you watch any of last night's game between the Rams and the Seahawks?
Yeah, I watched a little bit. Just a little bit, though.
So how does it feel? I know you guys are focused on your own business, but how does it feel knowing now you guys control the path? If you guys win out, you're the number 1 seed.
I say it's fun. First of all, to know that. Second of all, we don't treat it like no other news. We just go hard, go to work like we do every other week.
Did you get to catch the 2-point conversion, the really weird 2-point conversion where they called it incomplete, then it was a lateral and they ended up getting it?
Did I see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. That was crazy. That was crazy. No, I definitely came on my seat for that one. What in the world just happened, for sure.
What did it teach you about, something that you could maybe apply?
Man, always pick up the ball, for sure, especially if it's in the end zone.
When you look at this Colts defense, what are some of the challenges that you guys are going to face on Monday night?
Just like with any other team, you got to come out there and give it your all. And you got to execute when we can't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Jauan, how close have you been able to talk with BA this season?
Just tell him, keep his head up. That's my brother before football, always. Just hoping his health is great. That's kind of like the last message I told y'all about. Just always want my brother to heal up.
George always kind of says, really the only one who really says that the offense needs to score a lot of points week in and week out for this team to be successful. And you guys, do you kind of feel the same way? And how do you feel like you guys are kind of
I don't have any thoughts about what we need to do as an offense. I just go out there and play hard and just try to execute.